Welcome to my channel. My name is Adina. I'm an intuitive astrologer, and in this video, I will be going over the birth chart, solar return, and transits for Pierre Poilievre. This video is a long time coming. I've had so many of my fellow Canadians, and I think even others from other countries, watch my Justin Trudeau video and request Pierre Poilievre. And so, for my fellow Canadians, make sure you subscribe and hit the notification bell because I've just implemented the Canada birth chart and transits into all of my lunation videos, meaning that twice a month with every new moon and full moon, I will also be going over how those moons and those lunations are affecting Canada's chart, which is also giving you an idea of the current transits. So it's keeping you up to date with all of the energy that is kind of going on with Canada and Canadians. So make sure you subscribe and hit the notification bell so that you can get notified every time I upload an update for Canada. So let's get right into it. I've had so many people asking to do Pierre Poilievre. Now, I do just want to note that I don't have an accurate time. When I went researching for his birth chart and also other birth charts and birth data, there was no accurate time. The birth charts were always set for 12 p.m. And so usually when I see that, I know it's a guesstimate. It's not accurate. And so I'm just going to go on the plan. I'm going to interpret the planet placements and the conversations that the planets are having with one another, but not necessarily how they're showing up in the houses or his personal points, because we don't know that unless we have an accurate time. And I'm not going to give you guys false information. I want to, stick to the facts and the points, and so we don't know if he's a Leo rising, but what we do know is that his sun is in Gemini and his moon is in Virgo, and his Mercury is in a very good placement in Gemini because Mercury rules Gemini. Mercury is also a key player for him because Mercury rules his sun and his moon. So that means that what Mercury is doing in the sky day to day, even during Mercury retrogrades, he's really feeling that, and that's really showing up in his life. So having the sun and Mercury in Gemini is great for communication and socializing. So it's not surprising because if you listen to him talk, it almost comes very naturally to him. He's very articulate with his words. He talks very well. He is very sociable, and he seems to get along very well with others. There may be like a curious side to him, and he also does seem like a bit of a jokester when I've seen him in certain interviews, and when people are kind of coming at him, he'll be like, "Oh, did Trudeau sent you?" Like he actually has a really good sense of humor, and that's part of that Gemini energy. And even having Mercury in Gemini, it's the trickster. Gemini is the trickster, and so a lot of people that have Mercury in Gemini tend to have great sense of humor. Sometimes are pranksters, tricksters. So that's really kind of a nice side to him to see. And also too, like, it's not surprising that he has this energy in Gemini because I think he's really great with communication. Now, having the moon in Virgo, which is also ruled by Mercury, this Virgo is very much an energy of being of service for others, being very analytical, which can be nice, especially when you are high up, running a country. He definitely pays attention to details. That also to this moon is in a really nice trine to his Venus placement in Taurus, which is Venus is also at home in Taurus. So he has a really good Venus placement, which I love. Venus can show how you get along with other people, your needs, your wants, your desires, your love language. I really love that, especially too with the Venus and the moon, kind of connecting in a very positive way. Now, I want to touch on his Mars as well. He has Mars in Taurus. Now, Mars does not do the greatest in Taurus because Mars rules Aries and a co-ruler of Scorpio. Mars is about go, 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 action, right? Taurus is about slow and steady. But how I look at it, when one has Mars in Taurus, this this is somebody that is extremely determined and ready to go the course for as long as it takes to accomplish what it is they want to accomplish. So if he has his mind and his heart set on something, he has no problem doing the work and really putting in as much work and kind of, as long as he has to, really. Taurus is a very determined energy. So I do kind of love that for him, and having Venus and Mars in Taurus, so that can be really nice. Now, when I first looked at his chart, one of the things that really stood out to me that I questioned was this Mercury opposition to Neptune. Because when we have Mercury connecting to Neptune, I mean, this is an opposition. So there's something at odds here. There's definitely balance required, but this is a Neptune retrograde. And at first, when I seen this, I was like, well, he may not be completely honest. There might be things that he's, hiding, because we know Neptune can rule deception, illusion, seeing things with rose-colored glasses, but that may be something he deals with in his personal life. Maybe seeing the good side of everything, trying to sometimes seeing things with rose-colored glasses. But the more I looked at this, the more intuitively I felt like, because we have the moon in kind of a conjunction with the north node, but also this north node is part of a T square with the sun. Like, he's got his sun and a T square with the nodes, which we're going to touch on, but also like with Mercury here, there's the north node, and then there's Neptune. And because the moon is there, I almost felt like he has this internal need and desire, and almost feels like it's a part of his purpose to expose things that are not true. I feel like it may not necessarily be that he's the one lying or that he is the one that is deceptive, but that he feels like it's a part of his purpose to expose things, untruths, and things that are not factual. And it's interesting because since he's kind of become quite prominent in Canada, he has always called JTO on a lot of the untruths and a lot of the things that he's done that he's hidden here in the country. He's done that for a couple of years now. So I think that that's actually kind of holds true. Maybe he really does feel like it's a part of his purpose to expose things. And it's also interesting too, because we've got Pluto retrograde here in a sextile with Neptune, which can really add to that inner desire and almost need to expose secrets, because that's what Pluto does. Pluto is about revealing secrets, revealing things that are hidden beneath the surface. So Pluto kind of connecting to that Neptune. So I thought it was really interesting. Now, with the sun in this T square with the nodes, this may mean that at some point throughout his life, there's something about his ego, identity, or who he is that is preventing him from following his purpose, or that he may have to, when this T square is activated by transit, that is when there can really be tension when it has to do with him and the direction he wants to move in his life. Because we don't know where those nodes are placed, it's kind of hard to kind of touch on his karmic journey, but we do know that he is here to be of service with the North Node in Virgo. And even with the South Node in Pisces, which we're going to touch on when we get into his transits, but come 2025, he's going to be going through a nodal reversal, which is going to be very significant for him, because we currently have the North Node in Aries, but once we get, I believe it's January 2025, we have the North Node entering Pisces and the South Node entering Virgo. So that is what we call a nodal reversal. And that is usually a key point in one's life where they go through some type of major change. So if he was to become, the leader of Canada, I would say it's probably going to be, once we get into 2025, where that can become quite prominent. So now let's get into the transit, since I've kind of already leaned in that direction. So Because we don't know that he's Leo rising, we can't really see the areas of life being affected by the transits, but we can see activations he's having. And right now, that Jupiter is sitting right on top of his natal Mercury. So he is really feeling this overwhelming need, I feel like, and desire to go after what he wants. And it's almost like I feel too, he's willing to put the work in and not really care who gets in his way. If he has his mind set on something, he's going for it. And right now, that's really being amplified with that Jupiter sitting on top of his Mars. Now, he's also been dealing with this Uranus on top of his natal Venus. Now, I wish I knew where these placements were, because I could say, there's definitely a lot of changes going on in this area of life. But what we can say is that Uranus is activating that Venus, which is activating not just the Venus, but also that Mars placement. So he's got a lot going on around his needs, his wants, his desires, the direction in life that he is moving in, and also, kind of that motivation, willpower, and drive that he has to kind of go after what he wants. So if being the leader of Canada is what he wants, there's nothing really standing in his way. Like, I feel like he's willing to do what needs to be done to have that happen. Now, he's also going through his Saturn opposition, which is also a really big astrological milestone. He has his Saturn here at 7 degrees of Virgo, and we have Saturn in Pisces. And at the time of this, when I took these transits, Saturn's at 11 degrees on his south node, which is interesting because I feel like there can be a lot from the past showing up for him that he's having to navigate. There can also be a lot of releasing and letting go. But I also feel like, too, that this is kind of tied in with, because Saturn is activating, kind of this T square, and Saturn is also opposing his moon. So I would say he's probably going through some challenges at this time, maybe in his personal life, maybe when it has to do with, his own personal journey. I would say there's probably some stuff coming up, especially too, he's going through a Saturn square to his sun. I don't know too much about his family or his father, but he could be going through stuff with his father at this time. He can also be going through, which we know, what is his journey here in this lifetime? What is his purpose? That's kind of being activated with that transit. Now, because Mercury is a key player for him, ruling his sun and moon, we currently have Mercury in Aries, and we're going to have Mercury in Aries for some time, because on April 1st, Mercury is going to station retrograde in Aries right on top of the North Node. Now, what we can say is that I think that he's going to be doing a lot of, I don't know if I want to say exposing, but I feel like there's going to be a lot. I feel like he's going to be blowing the lid off of a lot of things over the next couple of months, and really determined to do so. So it'll be interesting to see, some of the things that he kind of exposes, because I know he did just expose, or I haven't researched too much. I've been so busy, but I know that he did just expose the thing with JT and the labs with Beijing and the link and all of that, the virology or something like that. So there can definitely be more around that he is going to be talking about. And there can also, I feel like, be more stuff that he will be exposing as well. Now, once we get to May of 2024, we have Jupiter entering Gemini. So Jupiter is going to be in the same house as his Sun and Mercury, activating all of that energy. So that is even more so adding to the exposure that he's going to be, because it's activating that opposition and all the connections that kind of the Sun is making to Neptune and the moon, and then also the nodes are in play too. So I think when Jupiter enters Gemini, that's going to be really big for him. I think we will see him shine a lot more. His identity could actually change and who he is over that year. year because Jupiter will be in Gemini over the next year. And so at the same time, he's going to have a nodal reversal. He's going to have Jupiter on his sun and Mercury. I mean, he definitely has the astrology hitting his birth chart in a way where his life is changing, and definitely in a very karmic way. And so, and almost who he is changing because it's the sun. The sun is your self identity. So I wouldn't be surprised if he does become the leader of Canada. I would almost, I don't like to say 100% for anything, but I would not be surprised if that happens because of how the astrology is hitting his chart, even without knowing where his career house is or, where these planets are. Just the fact that Jupiter is going to be on his sun, he's having a nodal reversal, that shows there is a significant turning point in his life and that his identity in a sense is changing. And Jupiter is the planet of expansion, abundance, luck, optimism. And I know a lot of astrologers do talk, Jupiter is the planet of luck, and Jupiter is great. But Jupiter also does expand things and amplify sometimes what we don't want. But so it's not going to come with, I don't think, without challenge, but I do think that he definitely has the astrology to become, the next leader of Canada. But I also think he's going to be revealing a lot more things as well. And also too, Jupiter will be on that. Jupiter is also eventually going to get to that. Oh, actually, in April, we have the Jupiter Uranus conjunction, which is at 21 degrees of Taurus. That's right on top of his Venus. So in April, I think we're going to see something really big with Pierre Poilievre because that's huge. Right on top of his natal, it's going to be unexpected. Like Uranus is very disruptive, chaotic, unexpected, but it's with Jupiter, which is making these like almost unexpected changes positive. So, and we're all kind of moving through this in our own way, depending on how this is hitting your chart. Uranus is that planet of unexpected disruption and chaos, but because it's with Jupiter, Jupiter is making this unexpected chaos kind of more optimistic and positive. So I wouldn't be surprised if in April, not only is Mercury going to be retrograde, but we're also in eclipse season, and we're also having, like, you're on April is a really big astrological month, but we're also he's also having that Jupiter Uranus conjunction on Venus. So I would say we're going to see something really big with him in April, whether it's that he's exposing something very shocking, very disruptive. Maybe too what he's exposing, there's like this sudden, it's like a key event that kind of pushes him into more of the leadership of Canada. So it also could be, we know that JT is going through a lot legally. There's been a lot of exposure. So maybe something unexpected happens with him, which then pushes Pierre to the forefront to be the leader of Canada. So I don't know. There's definitely a lot here that shows it's a possibility. It can be happening. And he's also going through his Uranus opposition, which I just noticed too, which is another huge key milestone, astrological milestone. So he's got a lot going on. And the south node on top of Pluto, which again is adding to the energy of exposure. He is feeling this need to reveal secrets. So I think we need to be watching him because I think there's going to be a lot that he's revealing over the next couple of months, especially in April. I feel like there's something really big coming in April for him. So it'll be interesting. We definitely want to keep our eye on him and kind of what's going on and what he's doing. Now, this is his solar return for 2023 to 2024. And again, it's really hard to do this when we don't have an accurate time. And so I'm going to do the best I can. I don't know how accurate it's going to be. And I just want to put that out there because usually when we're doing lunar returns, solar returns, we do need an accurate date of birth. So we'll see here. He's there on the day of his return, Jupiter is conjunct the North Node. So we do know that, and he's born in June. So we do know that from June of 2023 to June of 2024, he has this very powerful karmic faded energy pushing him into the direction that he is meant to move in this lifetime, because that North Node shows something new, it's unknown, it's new territory, but it is a part of your life's purpose and your purpose, here in this lifetime in your soul's journey. So having Jupiter on the North Node shows that there's going to be a lot of movement towards, that soul's journey and purpose. Now, there's also the Mercury-Uranus conjunction, which again can be adding to a lot of shocking communication and information that he is exposing, which we know that he has, because there's only a couple months left of this solar return. So we can almost kind of reflect too. He has exposed a lot over the last year of things going on. And I feel like that's that, Uranus and Mercury. We also have Venus in this opposition to Pluto, which again can be the exposure of things that are hidden coming to light. And his solar return was also when Pluto first ingressed into Aquarius. Pluto's retrograde in this chart too. So he's revealing a lot to the public, a lot to the people of Canada, which we've seen, so that holds true. But there is this Mars T square to the node. So there is almost actually this grand square with Mars, Pluto, and the node. So I wouldn't be surprised if there is a lot of tension with him wanting to become the leader of Canada. He's probably going through a lot behind the scenes. Actually, I wouldn't be surprised. Even too, there's that Venus trine to Neptune, which can play a really big part in the revealing things that are hidden, secrets, deception. Um, but I wouldn't be surprised if he is going through a lot kind of behind the scenes that maybe we don't see or we don't know. And there's also this in conjunction with Saturn and Mars. So there can be some restriction in some way with the direction he's wanting to move in or taking action with something. So that's really interesting. Now let's just take a peek at his 2024 into 2025 solar return. So the solar return that he's going to have this year is going to be the Sun Venus cazimi. That's very significant, especially too, because we want to remember that Venus rules. Actually, that's conjunct his Mercury. So, and with Jupiter here, so there's definitely going to be a lot of forward movement. We've got Mercury kind of conjunct Uranus again, but there is like this cluster. I definitely think we're going to be seeing a lot more of him. Like he has a lot of positive energy for moving forward again, because we don't know where this is kind of falling in his chart. Like in the solar return chart, it says it's in the 12th house, but it may not be in the 12th house. It could be in the 10th house because we don't have an accurate time. So I wish I did, because I could tell so much more with this chart. If anybody has an accurate time or can find an accurate time, because I wasn't able to find one, comment below and I can do another presentation. But because of all this energy here together, and even having like the moon in Aries with Mars, I think with the North Node too, I think that he does have this really internal like desire to go after what he wants. So we're going to see him making big moves between now and into 2025. And then remember that once we get to 2025, he's got that nodal reversal. So over the next, I would say year to year and a half, I would even say over the next year, like 2024 into 2025, we're going to see a lot from him. He has a lot of positive energy. He has a lot of energy showing that he's about to go through a lot of life changes, especially when it has to do with his self-identity and who he is. And he's ready to go after what he wants, and he's not going to let anybody get in his way. I mean, that's just what the astrology shows, even with his birth chart. He is just very determined. And I think he's going to be exposing a lot more secrets. There's going to be a lot more exposure. So, yeah, we want to be watching it. We want to be watching his interviews and kind of what he's saying. I think 2024 is going to be a year of really bringing things to light. And like I kind of mentioned with his birth chart, I feel like he almost feels like it's a part of his purpose to bring things to light. So I hope that you enjoyed this video. Let me know in the comments below what you all think. Now, I know he is a politician, and politicians are hard to trust, right? But if we had to choose someone, I mean, I do kind of like him, but I mean, I do like him. I like Pierre Poilievre, but he's a politician, so you know what I mean. It's hard, but he has a better birth chart, I feel like, than JT. JT's birth chart shows a lot of just kind of wanting power, control, and yeah, and I don't see that with Pierre Poilievre. I see, that Mercury Neptune opposition, which can show, deception. So I don't want to rule that out. But when I looked at it more intuitively, I felt like it was him wanting to expose secrets and almost him feeling like it is a part of his purpose in this lifetime to kind of reveal secrets. So thank you so much for joining me. I hope you enjoy this video and presentation. Don't forget to like, share, and subscribe, and I will connect with you all in the next one.